right?
Stephen.
Hey.
And we've got fucking this gentleman here.
Why is he making so much noise? We haven't done.
I don't know. We haven't done our little intro, and he's
so
already
be quiet
he's
for a minute.
already
You
making
be
a
quiet,
noise.
whoever you are.
Fucking hell.
Stephen.
No, we can't be quiet because look, he's sat. I think he's got some kind of virtual screen on.
You think he's got like? Where's he? Where do you think he's really sat?
I think he's sat in his kitchen, and he's got like.
You reckon? Got a
he's
green
got,
screen behind me.
Yeah,
and he's got like he's in a car.
Yeah. Well, do you know this is a podcast? That's weird. I'm looking at our video at you looking at me. That's a bit weird. You do it.
There's a little bit.
Can you see that? It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, I've been doing that for the last nearly year.
This
What's the intro?
This gentleman here.
You fucked it.
This gentleman here is called Rio.
Easy.
His name is Rio, and he.
Is it short for?
Is it short for anything?
Rio.
It is not.
Just Rio.
It is not. Just Rio.
I was going to say just Rio. That's
just Rio. Yeah.
It's a bit like Rio, isn't it?
The Rio, I prefer. The Rio.
The Rio.
The.
So
if we're going
the
anywhere,
original.
we'll go there.
Local
the
lad,
original.
Yeah.
Local lad, right? I'm gonna say good friend of mine.
Cool. Yeah. Stretch.
Currently the boss man down at Toro Tapas in Bude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glad that's got a shout out.
Knocking out tapas 9 to 5, Monday to Tuesday. You're open a bit longer than that, aren't you? When is it? Like Tuesday to Saturday.
Tuesday to Saturday, mate. Yeah.
That's it. From 4 until.
So shut up, you two.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking business promotion. Shut up.
Of course it is. But I invite me and so obviously I see Rio quite a bit, right?
Why do you see Rio quite a bit, Stephen? Would you like to elaborate? Not the drugs den, the other part.
No, because I go down and I like to.
Because he's a big drinker, that's why.
Right.
That's what they call me, big drinker.
Oh, big S.
And basically, this geezer's got a story, and I'm going to go there, right? And he's not going to mind me. He's not going to mind me saying this.
It's like Michael fucking Parkinson.
He's not going to mind me saying this. First impressions of Rio, right? I think we all fucking do it. We judge.
Knobhead.
Right?
Definitely.
You got a geezer with a fucking cap on. You got a geezer with a cap on. Bit of a fucking white boy, right? And you just think, oh, this is fucking, youth of today, right? Tell you what, he knows that. He's not a fucking idiot, right? He's a really intelligent bloke, right?
I appreciate that.
Didn't get the brains from his dad.
Shout out.
He'll be watching this.
He's
going to
be watching this. Me.
Fucking...
He used to beat me up at school.
Did he actually?
All the time, yeah.
Well,
I'm not going to say anything. Don't want to say his name. Don't want to get him in trouble. No, he didn't. He really didn't. No, his dad.
The little ones always fall behind, don't they?
No, he didn't. No, we got on at school. He was sound.
No, he's a really, really nice bloke, actually.
He is, just on that topic, he is the reason that you can sit there and call me a very respectable gentleman today, so I shout out my dad there. Big time.
Shout out to Jake.
So, Rio, obviously when we first met, we were sat down, weren't we? And I think, we were having a little chat, having a drink probably. And obviously I was telling you about the podcast. And you were telling me a story. And you had quite a fucking tricky life. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say, I mean, for the people that I know anyway, I wouldn't say it's the average sort of adolescence. Do you know what I mean? A few things that sort of, you only realise as you get older, I think we spoke about this, that it hinders you more in life the more you grow. But yeah, back then, I don't know, it all seems a bit of a blur now, like I lost a friend in 2019. I'd say my best mate. He took his own life just down the road from where you live, Dave. Down that alleyway.
I mean.
Yeah, and
I didn't realise you. I didn't know
I assume that's what he's referring to in Tricky Life, and
yeah,
I think that just it made me who I am today, and it fucking tests your character. Can I swear? Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We just don't like the. Or Dave doesn't like the C word.
No, I don't mind
that's
this.
all right.
So other people get offended by it, Stephen.
So
yeah, of course.
Tell us about this dude, because obviously I'm not a local guy. I don't know if Dave knows him or Tell us about him. Did you grow up together or?
No, so he lived in Bromley. I think he grew up in Bromley in London most of his life, and he moved to Bude when he would have been in. I think he'd have been in year 11, and I'd have been in like year 7 or 8. And I met him first then, and he was your typical like. Fucking hell, who's that walking past kind of guy? Do you know what I mean? He'd catch everyone's eye and he knew I think that it's really cliche to say, but you know when you say anyone but him to go, do you know what I mean? He was one of them characters. He just inspired, you know, fucking. I say this a lot. I think a tattoo parlor in memorial tattoos for him raised about £2,000 in £40 tattoos, and I think that just shows the impact he had in. You know, he was here. He was 20 years old when he passed, and he'd probably only been here about, you know, 6, 7 years, 8 years. And yeah, he touched absolutely everybody. You know, people couldn't even get into the funeral. Do you know what I mean? It was
packed.
he was just that character that you just, you know, he had a lot of, he would have had a lot of people that had said a lot of bad things about him, but if you knew him, the bad was always for a reason, and it was always, you know, he was very morally correct, and I think that's why I got on with him so well, and the people that are close to me got on with him the way they did, because no matter what you thought of him, you couldn't say he steered from his morals, and I think that's what struck in me, just the sort of character that he had. And yeah, he was just absolutely brilliant guy, you know. One of the ones that I think. Go on.
Go on. No, go on.
I was just going to say, he's just, you know, he's that type of person. You know, my son's got his name for his middle name. You know, my son's called Denver James Hynes, and James is obviously after him. And I think that in itself says the impact he had on my life. Do you know what I mean? And I lost him when I was 17, so I was still a kid. You know, I sometimes when I talk now, I think like it's hard to dissociate the fact that I wasn't a 22-year-old man that lost him. I was a 17-year-old little boy that hadn't had a walk. You know, it's the first funeral I ever went to, the first fucking loss I ever had, and it happened to be the one guy I'd have said, fucking don't take him away, you know? But he was just, yeah, he I think the morals that I carry with, or try to carry, you know, I think everyone does their best, but it always relates back to, you know, what would he say about it? What look would he give me if I'd done that? Or, you know, if I spoke to someone that way, or if I, you know, he was that guy you didn't want to fucking go. Do you know what I mean?
Was he had his head screwed on, and you know, did he have a family or?
No, he didn't have his head screwed on. He was a fucking nut job. He was absolutely crazy, but
I cooked for his
that's why
barbecue for his
I'm
mum.
heavy on the morals. Like he had
Oh,
done a lot of bad.
do you know who he's talking about? Wow, I didn't know that. James knows him.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He was absolutely massive round here, you know. And like I say, you've probably got some opinions of him. Like I think everyone could have their opinion of, oh fucking hell, that one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
well,
he
I didn't know him like that. I just, you know, just knew of him by face really more than anything.
yeah. But no, he was, you know, he definitely had his troubles. You know, me and the people that are close to me, you know, we went for a hell of a lot with him before. I don't know. I always use the analogy. I feel like he was always a rock on the edge of a cliff, sort of back and forwards, you know, and at some point he was going to roll. You know, unfortunately, you know, some people just can't win that battle. He struggled with it, from what I understand, from when I did know him and what we went through. You know, he battled mental health fucking severely, and I was very much laugh at depression. Fuck off, you're not sat, get over it. You know, that's sort of the way I grew up, and a chip on the shoulder kind of thing, be the big man, until that happened. And then the night before he took his life, I was in the pub with him on the Thursday, the King's Arms, or the Tree Inn in Stratton. And he was there with everyone. And then at 5 a.m. that night, after everyone had sort of left, that's when it happened. And every single person there, you'd just be like, what? If you had said that's what he was going to go and do. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, you know, he wouldn't have, I wouldn't say he wasn't the best lad, but, you know, he pissed a lot of people off, as I think a lot of people do. But his morals were always correct, you know, and he always stuck to how he felt and how he should, you know, react to the situations dealt to him. And, you know, I'll always carry his name with the highest of grace, because I know a lot of people today that would probably fucking switch positions with him if they could, just so he could still be on this earth to impact other people. Do you know what I mean? You know, no matter what, the amount of people I've spoke to that have gone, God, that guy was a twat, but fuck me, I loved him. Do you know what I mean? He was that character.
I hope that's what people say about me. You know, like,
you're alive.
You got to go.
No, well, I know.
Die first, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know for now, but I'm just saying, like, when I do feel like that's what some, you know.
Well, the people go, God, he was a twat.
Bit of a prick, but you know.
Do you know what I think though? Do you know what?
Oh, there's more to it.
Do you know what I think though? I think with that, I think it's very sad this day and age that men only get their flowers at their funeral. It's
Yeah.
very rare a man is given their dues and given their props to who they are whilst they're still alive, you know? I see a quote once and it said, you know, the first bunch of flowers a man gets is on his fucking coffin, you know? And
Yes.
I think that resonates with me because it's like, if you think about it, yeah, obviously your missus might get you a bunch if you know, whatever, but I think the main time a man is really told he's loved and appreciated is when he's fucking gone, you know what I mean?
I think that applies. I don't know it's men's mental health, but I think that's across the board with people, isn't it? People
I think so too.
people stand at the funeral and go, "Oh, my dad, this person, that person are amazing," you know, and people stand up and they'll say this, that, and the other.
Too
Why,
late often, isn't it?
but why does it take? I'm always curious on why it takes a funeral for that to happen. Why is it?
I think it's the guilt that lies within people. I think that of just fucking hell, I never said it enough, and then it all just comes out when you can't say it. Do you know what I mean?
Well said. Yeah.
It relates to men not being able to talk. You know, you know, we'll sit there and look at our best mate, and we'll sit there and look at our best mate, and in our heads we're going, I fucking love you, but you don't say it. Do you know what I mean?
He just used the C word. Called me it. Can you believe it?
Did he? Oh my God, pound in the jar.
Well, pound in the jar.
Pound in the swear jar, mate.
Don't after
be doing
my
that.
girlfriend.
No, do you know what? You're absolutely right. Of course.
Yes,
like,
really well said.
We are crap. I think we're getting better. You know, incredibly slowly, far too slowly. Even, you know, I just try and make a point now. Any of my mates that I see, and it's very little, you know, I will hug them. That's my new way now. Like,
You've always been like that since I've known you.
Yeah, but I've started doing it to a lot more people now. Do you know what I mean?
You haven't
like,
got that many mates, though.
Well, no, I know, but the mates that mean something to me, because, do you know what? And it's sad to say, I think to myself, is this the last time I'm going to hug you?
I think that about people.
Is this the last time I'm going to be able to do this?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, Steve, because that's what it was almost a bit of a ironic thing when we sat down and had a conversation, because I thought the same. I thought, this guy's a fucking knob, you know what I mean? When you come in Carenza and you know you were a bit lippy, bit jokey and that to people that you didn't really know, and then we actually sat and you spoke about the mental health that you had struggled with. And I went away from that conversation thinking, you really don't fucking know who's going through it.
Yeah.
And that's even after I feel like I know firsthand, because, you know, I went through it all when I was whatever. I feel like I can spot it, but it really proves that if someone doesn't want you to know they're feeling like that, you never will.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, be fucking kind, you know, it's free. It don't cost nothing to be nice to people, you know.
We need to clip that up.
Yeah, well, I told you, this dude's fucking...
Fair play to you for coming on. You're only 20... I can't remember what you fucking said. 21, 22. 22, yeah, but you're the same age as Harv, yeah. My eldest, yeah.
Yeah, I went to school with Harvey.
Yeah.
He was in me form, yeah.
Yeah, so that's ironic. Me and your dad and I went to school together as well. I think you used to beat up Harv and Jay used to beat me up. So. No, but fair play.
I got on with him. I got a lot of time for Harvey. He's a good lad.
He said the same, man. But no, fair play for you to come on and...
Well, this is the thing, right?
And, like, just talk and just actually... And be like, I'm just going to talk. And not be concerned about it, because we shouldn't be concerned about just talking.
No, we shouldn't. But this was my point with Rio, is that, like, you know, and I think I said this to you actually, Rio, as well. Like, I think, you know, we've got an issue. I say my generation, and then obviously there's a couple of generations above your generation. Like, you know, I think it is getting better as it goes down. Well, you're like 50, you know, you're like fucking coal mines, all that kind of shit.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, I'm kind of like middle, like white collar, kind of like...
Obviously.
And obviously, like, and but even more, I do think, like, even with, and you'll know this, Rio, more than we will, like...
Go on.
The lads of your age, you know, are they tactile? Do they talk about their mental health, stuff like that?
I think I'd say they do. You know, I got a lot of people on Facebook, and I see a lot of people more so. But then again, in Bude alone, I know 3 people that have took their lives. I know another 2 that have overdosed, and this is in Bude in the last sort of 5-6 years. Like, I think it's very rife in Bude that mental health can fucking grab you. Do you know what I mean? So I would say yes, the people that surround me are very advocate of it and try and help. You know, I've got people that I don't know that well, and they share all the posts, and you know, the Man Down charity. I'm a big fan of that. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Have you been there though, Rio?
I haven't, but that is just because
I know,
I
Thursday
deal with,
nights.
well, yeah, but I just, you know, I deal with things in the way I deal with them. And, you know, I spent a good 3 years when I went through what I went through, being absolutely reckless, didn't care whether I lived or died. Do you know what I mean? And then it was me dad actually. He put his hand on my shoulder, you know, just going down this horrible route, fucking up for 5 days at a time. And he put my hand on my shoulder, and I'll never forget it. He went, "The world won't stop fucking turning because you got a problem." And that's it kind of just switched to me like, fucking hell, the sun will always rise. Do you know what I mean? You can have your worst day and the sun's still going to come up. So I just think, yeah, going back to your question, I've gone a bit off topic there, but I'd say young lads are a lot more inclined to promote other young lads to talk, but I don't know whether they talk themselves, but I know that it's more a case, I feel, of everyone needs to talk to their mates. I'm here if you want to talk, but they're the ones that probably need to talk that don't. Do you know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
advocating for everyone to talk, but maybe not talking themselves. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're
'Cause
right.
that's what. Do you know? Is that
Oh,
understandable? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that
100%.
makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
and not everyone's got everyone as well. That's the thing. It's almost like, you know, people that say talk, 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 talk. They just want to be heard.
Well, that's it. I
And
think
actually,
because
what they're saying is listen, listen, listen. Really.
yeah. I think it's something to look out for. That, you know, the ones that are sharing the posts and men need to talk and the mental health days, you know, they're the ones that you want to look at, because it's kind of, you know, and it's hard. I don't care what anyone says. For a man, it's the most vulnerable you can be to talk about how you feel, because all we're supposed to have is, right, be a man, gotta work, do your job, earn your money, be a fucking straight up guy. Do you know what I mean? And I think it scares, and especially in my age, man. Like I shouldn't be the way I am now. I shouldn't have had to, in a selfish way, shouldn't have had to lose that to learn these sort of things that I'm talking about with you. And, you know, I don't know many people my age that, you know, went through what I went through in terms of, you know, you know, in taking his own life in the way that he did, and going down that route. And so I think when mental health is and again, I've had a lot of people that have messaged me when it did happen, like, oh, I feel really down and sad, but not as sad as you because of what you've been through. And I always said, mate, fuck that. Like, if your worst problem's dropping your bit of toast on the floor in the morning, and my worst problem is my friend dying, it's equal, because that's your worst problem. And I think that's what people struggle with, is everyone's so like, oh, but what did he go through? Fuck that. What have you
Doesn't
been through?
matter.
Do you know what I mean? Talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what
Yeah,
people
people.
struggle with, especially in the young people anyway, you know.
Yeah, well, people think it's
But yeah.
selfish if you're talking about yourself and sort of putting the spotlight on yourself.
Yeah.
So I always used to think that you're like, oh, it's, you know, it's not. There's big, like you said, it's bigger problems. It's not about, oh, I feel shit, but, you know, I better not say anything. Actually,
It doesn't matter.
There's always,
it doesn't matter.
someone's always had it worse, mate. You know, someone, you know, I can talk about this now and someone will listen and go, fucking hell, like that, you know, but the next person, his parents have killed themselves. And that's a whole nother fucking ball game of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just, and that's why I say, again, just be fucking kind, you know, love thy neighbour and all that shit. Do you know what I mean? Just be nice to people.
Yeah, it's true.
People aren't, are they? Like, so Rio, tell us. Look, what's your story? I mean, obviously, you know, you weren't born in Bude, were you?
Yeah, born and fucking raised, mate.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
well,
I didn't know that.
Not what? I don't know.
yeah.
I didn't know you were born and bred.
Yeah, I'm born and bred, mate. Well, I mean, I lived in Marham Church for most of me childhood, but
That's
counts,
all right.
don't
We'll let you off for that. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So, because I always think,
But
like,
yeah.
mental health in somewhere like Bude, like, I think one of the problems is that it's so fucking different. Like, what was it like growing up? Like, I'm talking like year 7, you know, through secondary school. What was it like? I mean, there's fuck all to do, is there? Really?
I was a little shit. I got excluded from Budehaven in year 9. I got permanently kicked out. So I was that just shit in school that just never.
Yeah, I've just remembered half saying. Literally, yes.
Yeah. I got
Can you tell
booted
us
out
why?
in year 9. I was just a persistent shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
just my whole, I don't know why, like, teachers would always, like, you know, they'd talk to me parents, like, is he like this at home? Like, because normally if your home life shit, school life shit, but, you know, I was never bad at home. I didn't get on with the authority of teachers, and, you know, I don't like the school system at all. I think it's a load of shit. You know, you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it'll always think it's stupid. And I think that applies to the school system, because not everyone's the same. Like, everyone's different. You could be the smartest in one aspect, but really thick academically. And then people think you're stupid. And then you have to, you know, I got no GCSEs, but really you're the best fucking artist in the world. Or, do you know what I mean? So I just didn't get on with that system, and I would always win the argument, and the teachers never liked that. You know what I mean? I'd always come out on the upper hand of it, and then it just get out of class. And yeah, and then I think the last time I was in school, I was playing football at the time, and I threw the football in PE, and Mr. Byron, I'll name him because he's a fucking twat. And
I love it.
he basically he was a maths teacher, and I was in the football team at the time, so I thought, you know, I'm chucking a few goals in, and I threw the ball, and he blew the whistle, and I was just at my fucking, I had a temperament, and I just turned around and went, fuck off, you C word. I won't say it. And then that was it. That was the last day I was in Budehaven, yeah. But I will say, off the back of that, I am very unproud of that. It sounds like a proud story, but I look back now and it caused me a hell of a lot of problems, you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Yeah, I can see that. And look, I think, you know, at the end of the day, one of the things that you blow me away with, like, is, you know, the way that you can have a conversation, like, you articulate stuff brilliantly, like, you know, you don't strike me. Again, it's all about that kind of assumptions and
But then
fucking
it's judging
stereotypes,
a
you
book.
know.
You should never judge a book by its cover, should you? You
No,
know?
but this is it, and I get it. But, you know, like you say, you come out year nine. Again, I've probably known you for about 6 months. I don't even know if it's been that long. But by
I'd say
far
about
one of
that.
the hardest working people I know.
I mean, I'll take that. I appreciate that.
And, you know, I like the passion that you know, obviously you're working with your dad now, aren't you? Like, so you're working obviously at Toro Tapas.
Shout out.
Tell us about that.
So can we go back?
Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, can we go back? So you got kicked out of school year 9. How old is that? 13, 14?
About 13, I think I was, yeah.
So what happened after that? What did your dad?
Well, it's me mum. It's me mum I was more scared of. So obviously they had, yeah, fuck me, man. Well, it's more letting me mum down is what killed me. You know what I mean? Like, it's the more letting her down side of things. But no, my pet. I'm lucky that I have a very, and I don't want to boast here, but I've got a very good relationship with my parents. I was always raised to be very open and honest with them, and you know, if I had done wrong and I was in the wrong for what I had done, hold my hands up and I'd get in trouble for it. But a lot of times that I got kicked out of school or excluded or sanctioned or whatever, it was for standing my ground against things that weren't morally right. And I'd explain that to my parents, and they'd be on my side because they know they raised a boy that weren't lying to them. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't
that's
trying to.
fair.
I was never. I just want to say I was never intentionally a twat in school. It was just calling you out on your bullshit, I guess. I would just call them out on their bullshit, like raising your hand to go to the toilet. Fucking what? Do you know what I mean? I've got to ask to go for a pit, or when they turn around and say, but you could have had a wee at lunchtime. I didn't need a piss then. I'm going now. Do you know what I mean? And like maybe I'd get in trouble for just walking out the class and going for a piss, or just little things like that. But yeah, I got kicked out in year 9 halfway through. And then because I got permanently excluded and not just a sort of temporary exclusion, because I had a few of those before, there's a thing called a PRU, which is it's like a behavioural unit, like a prison for kids that are naughty in school. And I went to one of them. It was in Delabole. It's not there anymore. It's moved to Bodmin, but I went there for about a year, and that fucking ruined me. It made me like, you got metal detected when you went to school, like metal detector all over you. But I'm in year 9, phone taken off you. You got locked in and out of every classroom. You was only in there as one-on-one with a teacher. You called them by their first names, like shout out Polly, because Polly was my English teacher, and she probably is the reason that I managed to break out of that system and get into, and obviously me mum getting me into another school, that was massive. But yeah, it was mental. Like I saw a kid in year 8 knock a teacher out because they tried to grab him and move him out of the kitchen. Another lad, he was called Joe. He ran round the back of the science block, threw a fucking brick through the big head to floor window, just shattered the whole thing. Like fucking police and riot vans turned up and arrested him. So that was a really weird, like, I went from being a naughty kid in school to being thrown in the deep end with people that were fucking naughty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it made me so much worse. Like, I was horrible. I was, if I couldn't put the right music on in my lesson, you fucking bitch, fuck you, fucking fuck. Do you know what I mean? It turned me into that because that's my environment. Do you know what I mean? And then thankfully my mum didn't give up on me because she's fucking brilliant. Like, absolute fucking big ups to my mum. She just kept on trying to get me into a school, and then Launceston College accepted my application, and they basically said, we'll have a look at him, but he's staying on the register at Delabole, so if he's a shit, he can go back. And I ended up staying in Launceston. They straightened me out. I'd probably send my kids there if I could, because they don't take no fucking shit like Budehaven. They don't take little pricks like me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It straightened me out, and from being kicked out in year 9, missing all of year 10, I managed to get all my GCSEs that I sat, and I'd done a year in AS level. Do you know what I mean? I come out all right.
Fair play,
Fucking
mate.
hell.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
It was absolutely. That's actually incredible. To be
It
fair.
is, yeah.
It's a moment where I feel like, yeah, because I see the teachers from Budehaven, and I've had conversations with them, and so how did your GCSEs go? Yeah, I got them all, mate. Yeah, cheers. Do you know what I mean? I think I got a B in English literature. I fucking loved English. English was brilliant. I loved it. I really got on in that subject. But yeah, but then again, I'm no different to anybody else. I dealt with what I caused for myself. You know what I mean? I was raised right. I done
Yeah.
wrong on my own, I like to say.
That's
But yeah,
And then, so what? And then after that, what did you do? Did you obviously? So that was like Launceston College. So and then you did AS level, and then obviously you left there.
So,
And is go
so,
on.
so I done sixth form after getting me GCSEs because I thought, yeah, fucking may as well do something with it.
How did you feel?
What, passing the GCSEs?
Yeah.
Just all I thought was, fuck all you cunts. Sorry,
Yeah.
yes. But that's being honest. All I thought was, all you fuckers in Budehaven that thought, Rio's this absolute no good kid that's gonna go nowhere in life, and he's gonna waste his school life away. My first thought when I opened that thing was, fuck you. Look what I had to go through, and I still got it. Do you know what I mean? But so
Credit to you, isn't it?
Well, it's a credit to me mum, because without her, I wouldn't have got into that school. So it's a credit to her. But I started my A levels, done the first year, and then in the summer of that, so you do 2 years, didn't you? And then in that summer of the second year is when my friend took his life, and I went back to college for the second year, and got maybe a week or two into it, and regrettably now I do regret it. I dropped out because I just couldn't, my head weren't there. I was all over the shop, So I had to, which I feel shit for, because, I remember sitting next to me mum when she come to the meeting, and she was crying that I was dropping out, because obviously she had fought so hard to get me into another school, and how far I had come, do you know what I mean, was quite, I'm not going to say I'm a miracle, but you know what I mean?
So it hit you. It
And
hit
yeah,
you. Would you say that was? I mean, it hit you fucking hard, didn't it? I mean, I think anyone, like, I've spoken to you about it a couple of times.
it
Yeah.
feels surreal still. Like, even now when I sit and you talk about it, something will switch and it will take you right back to that fucking day where I sat in that tent where I found out. And, I think time is a healer. People that don't believe that are wrong. It massively heals you, but all it does, I think, you just learn along the way to deal with it a bit better, and to turn the grief into a bit more love, and the anger into a bit more fucking joy, and that kind of thing. And it's just,
Did
yeah,
you ever
it
talk
was
about any
fucked.
of? Did you ever talk about any any of the way you felt? And his name was James, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't
James.
know
Yeah,
why
well,
I keep saying him. Yeah, James. Did he ever talk about?
Keno. His name was Keno.
Okay.
Keno was
Yeah.
his name. But yeah, he, I've had you know, I've had times where I've been in flats and he's grabbed a knife and he's tried to hurt himself but again, this is pre losing a friend and pre understanding what suicide is and what mental health is. So you just don't, I look back now and I'm like, fuck, I could, all the things I could have done. And, I bullied myself for years for fucking, I let it eat me away of, you could have done this, you could have done
don't get
that
me
if you
wrong,
had
dude.
known this.
I'm not saying, fucking hell, Rio. Like, did you not see the signs?
No.
I'm not saying that for a second. No,
No.
it's just,
I know you're not saying that. Don't worry about that. But no,
yeah.
in terms of your question of, did you see the signs? When I look back now, he was fucking screaming it for years. Do you know what I mean? He was fucking crying out for help for so fucking long. And I think that's what's hard to swallow, because everyone around him would say, you're just like, what the fuck? But then it almost makes sense in a fucking weird, horrible way. You almost go, now I look back on it, fuck. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah. Did you, when you went to Delabole then, it's obviously there's a mix of like yourself that was just naughty or just a little bit off the rails or whatever word you want to use.
It was
but
horrible.
Then there was some absolute stonkers there. But did you, because that's the sort of place you would think there would be some sort of mental health sort of officer or whatever, was there something that was more prevalent in that than maybe your standard secondary school?
So in terms of the teachers that you had there, they were all very highly trained, a lot more than teachers are. I spoke to one teacher about it, like they're trained to tackle you, they're trained to restrain you, they're trained to fucking understand your psychology a lot more. Like there's a lot more to be one of those teachers. You have to go through a lot more training. I can imagine to understand the mind of a young person there was, but there was. And again, I think it's just sort of your personal connections with people is when a kid like me in that environment, like Polly, I've still got her on Facebook and, she'll comment here and there and I'll comment here and there. I owe my fucking, she was the only, when I had that lesson, that's when I've become that kid again of like, I want to be someone. I want to fucking get out of this shit, because she resonated with you. She didn't treat you like a fucking, like a worthless twat, which is what we all were. We were all worthless fucking idiots that pissed our lives up the wall. And I think in terms of your question of like the mental health sort of help being prevalent in that school, I mean, back then it didn't exist to me. If I
Since
think
you've only
back,
been aware of it, then yeah.
yeah, it wasn't a thing. And the kids that was in there, they all need fucking serious help. Like I was just a product of my environment. I was just acting as the others to fit in. Do you know what I mean? Because I was fucking scared, man. There's some big ass fuckers from Weybridge in there that shit me up on my first day. Do you know what I mean? Like I went from being
Specifically
this.
Weybridge.
Yeah, because I'll never forget this guy. I'll never forget this guy. He was called Blake, and I hope you don't see this. He'll probably come after me. But there was he was called Blake. I can't remember his last name. I mean, I'd kick his head in, don't I?
Maybe just leave the last name off.
But what did he do? So there's a kitchen. They're all like big, heavy fire doors, so you can't get in and out easily. They're all locked by the teachers, all of that. And I was in the kitchen having me lunch, and the kitchen was a treat. You was only allowed in there if you had been good, basically. And you could just make your own food, drink teas, make toast, whatever. And I was in there eating me lunch, just fucking little old me eating away. And he stood outside, and he's a fucking huge, probably bigger than you, Steve. Like, big fucker.
Was a big lad.
Big lad. Big
And
maid.
he stood out the door. Bear in mind, he's a big fire doors, and he just stood outside, and in about 5 kicks, took this door clean off. And I was just sat there, like, just looking at him, like, what the fuck? Like, this is where I am. Do you know what I mean? It was mental. Absolutely mental.
Did he do anything when he came in?
And he just made himself a cup of tea. He just wanted a cup of tea. Yeah.
He just wasn't allowed to make a cup of tea, so he wanted to. That was it.
Yeah, so he had been naughty the day before or whatever. He had pissed the teacher off, so they're like, right, you're banned from the kitchen. And he just thought, no, I ain't. Bang, I'm coming in. But it was just, I think in terms of your question, I think every boy in there, none of them knew what it was. They probably struggled with it, but I think in the last, I'm not saying since fucking my mate died, but I think in the last couple of years, it's become a massive social sort of conduct of men's mental health, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just,
But are you still
I don't know,
seeing
for
it,
me
though?
back,
Are you
Yeah.
seeing it like with your mates? Like, do you think, you know? I mean, how many of your mates have come up to you and gone, Rio, like, I feel really shit, dude. Like, are you about for a chat?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate that I do have them type of friends that I'm checked in on every fucking day. You know, I've got a very lovely missus that keeps me in check as well. My friends are brilliant, you know, they because of what I went through, my friends were all older than me. I don't really have many friends my age per se. I don't know, I just don't know, maturity thing, I guess. I just kind of felt like I fitted in more with older people or whatever. And I become friends with this great group of blokes sort of maybe a year or two before my friend passed away. You know, a day don't go by where they don't get hold of me to make sure I'm all right, you know. I've probably got messages unanswered that I haven't looked at of how are you today? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's good
I'm
to hear.
fortunate there, but yeah, I'm fortunate, and obviously vice versa. You know, to the people I know need reaching out to, I always reach out. To the people that
Yeah.
go quiet a
Well,
bit,
yeah, you've done that to me this last week, and that meant the world to me, to be fair. You know, obviously I've not been in Carenza for a couple of weeks, and you just sent me a message, and it was
yeah.
beautiful, to be honest with you.
Well,
It
it was.
doesn't happen
I mean,
often.
I'll give. It was me dad actually that he first voiced his concern earlier on in the day. He was like, "Have you heard from Steve?" I said, "I haven't actually. We ain't seen him in a while." And he said he'd messaged you and you hadn't got back. So that's why I just thought, look, I'm going to shoot you a text just to make sure, because obviously, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've got going on in your life. Mental health can fucking grab you like that. It can just fucking
Yeah.
snatch you out
Too
of whatever
easily.
you're doing, and
Yeah.
scarily easily, you know. And Dave, I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever experienced it before. Have you
I'm
experienced
glad
it?
I'm glad you've watched the podcast, mate.
I've seen clips.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. To answer your question, a lot. Yeah.
Well, you know, fuck them other
Well,
episodes. We're on now, aren't we?
you spent. I
Cheeky
mean, what did
fucker.
you say? What did you say the other day?
I don't want you to say the amount of time,
Okay.
please, if
No.
you can.
No,
Yeah,
that's fine.
because that's
Yeah,
only
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. Don't need to.
But
It's fine.
been
Don't
a
need
while. It's
yeah,
been deep.
yeah. It was a long time I struggled for. Very a lot longer than what anybody would realise. But yeah, I just hit it, and I just didn't want to be here for a long time, and then just came through it eventually. But it gets hold of me like fucking like that. Like, I'll be fine, and
Can
then
I
all
ask
of a
you a
sudden,
question?
yeah, of course you can.
Could you pinpoint what you think got you through it? Like what that pivotal moment was that you went, right, I've got to get through this patch.
One huge part was I saw. Do you know the story of this, don't you? What about Rory's Instagram? Rory
Rory
Hodges.
No, go on. I know
So
the
Rory
story,
Hodges put on a story, like an advert on his Instagram page.
Shout out to Rory.
Yeah, shout out to Rory. And it just said,
Yeah.
looking for old bastards that basically want to not only sort their physical health out, wanted to sort their mental health out. And I was on the right path. I don't know exactly when the path started, but that was the real catalyst that really put me on the real, like, there was a real, and I can still remember the moment when I was sat on the edge of the bed in my bedroom, obviously, because I was sat on the edge of the bed, and I remember seeing it being like, I need to do that. And then, and then it was just from there, I just started on this path, which I've never looked back on.
Yeah. And I think that's a very good thing to highlight, to not look back. Because I think that's what can hinder a lot of people, because they fall back into the comfortability of their own mental health. You know?
Yeah, because you can easily do that. Just look back on shit and just wallow in your own fucking self-pity. And I'll do that
it's
sometimes.
easy to feel sorry for yourself, isn't it? Because it's only you.
But you just feel
you know what I mean?
shit. Like, I just feel dreadful sometimes. I'll just do that. I'll put on music which makes me feel shit, and I'll think about shit things, and I'll just sit there like on my phone, just doom scrolling, and then
How do you get out of that?
Usually think, right, I've got to go for a run.
Yeah.
And usually running, get the endorphins moving, a bit of sweat, and I'm usually good. But I need to make sure I keep hold of that moment so it doesn't really get hold of me. It hasn't got hold of me for a long time.
Get hold of it before it gets hold of you.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble if it gets hold of me. So I just need to make sure, and I know my triggers, and I know what to do and not what to do. So I'm pretty good, but it's still difficult to make sure you keep on that path. So talking on that, actually, have you got have you got ways that you deal? If you feel shit, have you got stuff that you do to help you overcome them?
Music's massive for me. Getting in the car and putting on songs that sort of resonate with how I feel. That's really huge for me. Yeah. Um, uh, just my friends as well. Being around people that I feel comfortable with, and people that like now, where you can just, again, I'm fucking fortunate that I have people that I can go and be that vulnerable to. Do you know what I mean? Like I can ring up and, are you free? And they drop everything to be free. Do you know what I mean? So I think if things ever get on top the way that they can, and like we all know, and I'm sure you're so more than me, things can fucking just grab you and just rip you down that dark path.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that I have people that I can reach out to and be around when I feel like that. So I'd say in terms of dealing with it, I think, like you say, I stick to what I know. Right, if I feel this type of way, that's the friend I call because I want to hear that bit of advice. Or, right, I feel like I can handle this on my own, so I'll jump in the car and just put on a few songs. I'll have a fag, I'll fucking go and buy some snacks, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And just maybe, I guess, make yourself feel comfortable is what I try and do. Try and just feel as comfortable as I can.
That's really good, that. I like that, because that's not always... Running always sort of generally will sort of knock it on the head, but sometimes I can get around it other ways. I might not need a run. Usually I might be going out for a walk, or just generally just keeping myself busy and letting it wash over you and realising you feel a bit shit.
Loving yourself. It's giving yourself a bit of love, isn't it? Like,
I suppose that is really. I suppose it is. Yeah.
100%.
Because I don't think
she's smoking.
I don't
No,
think
I
if you're going to do that off camera, at least lean over like the whole way so we don't see what's in your hand. Yeah, that we could see the crack pipe when you're lighting up the little glass tube.
Right, it's a needle, thank you very much.
It's about loving yourself, isn't it? And I think I don't love myself enough, nowhere near. All my love.
You definitely don't.
All my love is all about everyone else. It's never, ever about me. Like, everything I do is for everyone else. And that's because I've got no fucking self-respect. But I know that. I've got no self-worth, no self-respect. Like, and they're the kind of thing. It's funny that I can say that, isn't it? With so much confidence.
It's something I can't work out about you, how you can talk so openly and so confidently about yourself, but you don't it doesn't trigger you to do anything about it.
No, and that's the thing. I don't know. That's my thing. Is like I don't know how to deal with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you got to remember as well. We're talking. What am I this year? 39 years old. It's 39 years of feeling that way. Do you know what I mean? It has become like who I am. It's not again, like, well, I am just a worthless person. Like, that is.
Yeah, but again, I think you're very wrong there in saying you're letting it get you there by saying that's who I am. No, it ain't. Who you are is who you want to be in there. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, but this is the thing, right? And this is the problem. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
So, I know I can say that out loud, right? And people that love me, right, will go, stop it, you're fucking lovely, right?
But I wouldn't say it because I know that because that's not...
Yeah, that's like me going, oh, you're a good cook.
Yeah.
It just...
Yeah.
I mean, not that I would say that, but, like, it just goes straight over.
Celebrity chef over here.
Yeah. So, but, and this is the thing, and it's weird, isn't it? Because I don't know, and I'll deal with it one day. It's just
no, but you are dealing with it.
Well, yeah, but Steve, I'll sit here and say, I think you're wrong in the way that you describe yourself, because I think the attributes that you should love yourself for are what you just said. You're fucking loving to everyone else. You care about everyone else. That's a reason to love yourself. Do you know what I mean? You should love the fact that you put everyone first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't fucking see it like that, do you?
No, I don't. I see that. What do I see that as? Like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I see it as. It's just like, that's just my job. Do you know what I mean? That's just not job. That's the wrong word. That's just who I am. Like, but it doesn't normally. Yeah, it's really difficult to explain. I don't, but yeah, it's that feels like that. That's my purpose. in life. That is my purpose. So I don't have any self-purpose. There is no time for
Yeah, I get that.
me. Do you know what I mean? And I just
I
sometimes I
get where you're
do.
coming from. Yeah.
I wonder if that's more prevalent than we might realise. Like people kind of
I think so.
almost like
I
live
think
through
in
other
men,
people.
that's quite prevalent of feeling like the provider,
Yeah,
and my job is to just
yeah,
make sure
yeah,
you're
Oh yeah,
yeah.
all right.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I
Sometimes
mean?
though, I think you're too scared to love yourself and to actually be like, this is who I am. I'm going to love myself for what I am and who I am.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like Rio was saying earlier about kind of before
I
his
thought he's
friend
grabbing his knob
passed.
there.
But before his
I was
friend
looking, I was
passed,
thinking, get your fucking hand off him. We're on a fucking podcast.
you gotta love yourself.
He's clearly not watching other podcasts,
Yeah.
so he would have seen a circuit of knobs
Yeah,
at loads.
well, normally we like rub each other's knobs on the ends and a bit of
I'll be
69
honest.
and
Can I
everything.
tell you why I haven't? Can I tell you why I
Go on.
haven't? Because as much as I may seem like a confident sort of speaker or quite happy to do this sort of thing, walking out the
Mm.
door nervous as fuck, and I think the more I'd watch, the more I'd try and analyse how you two are. So
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have been natural. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to be as
Yeah,
natural
That's
as
that
I
fair
makes
could.
enough.
sense. Yeah, you'd have tried to be, well, this person said that, and how should I say this? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we've had a right old fucking bunch on, haven't we? To be fair.
Haven't we just? Look at him.
Where's he gone now?
Oh, no, the screen's gone funny.
Oh no, it's all right. He's coming back. It's because we
I'm
said
back. Look,
he's
look,
got
Steve, what did you tell me? What did you tell me? I said, can I have a vape on there? You said, of course you fucking can, mate.
Oh, when was that though? Because the rules changed.
It was probably
Did
about
they?
a week ago you told him that.
Well, yeah, because I used to vape on here, and the main problem is that you got the whole kind of like.
Well, it wasn't that.
Yeah,
it
with
just looked
you, because
fucking
you don't know how to
dreadful.
fucking toke one.
I love it.
You suck it like you're trying to get it back to life.
To be fair, I probably am. I do. I'll try and
Fucking
be
mouth
more
to
gentle
mouth.
with it. I'll try and be a bit more gentle with it next time.
Jesus, so violent
Yeah,
with
if
it.
you could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll try
mate,
and be a bit more
just
gentle.
relax.
Fucking hell, Rio, that is brilliant.
Just suck it nice and slow.
Carrying on your
That's-
journey. So obviously, once your friend passed, and I appreciate, you came out of college and everything like that.
Mm.
At what point did you? Because obviously you've ended up working with your dad, but my understanding was that was not your long-term plan, was it?
To work with my dad.
Or to do chefing?
No, obviously
Or I
I've
just
got
made that up.
No, yeah, no. So I've got a missus and a baby, and
That's
they
right.
do
Yeah,
not live
sorry.
here.
Yeah. No. Do you want to talk about that?
She. So yeah, well, we'll talk about the council here for a start. It's fucking shit. They have no care for helping young people that are going through it. We couldn't get a house here. We tried to. She tried to. It just didn't work. And up there's more houses than there are demand for it down here. So she got one from where she's from, which is near. It's an Oxfordshire postcode, which is all I'll give you, really.
Helpful. Yeah.
Well, I
quite
don't want you
posh up
finding
there,
out
isn't
where she lives. I don't want you finding out where she lives, do I, Steve?
We'll put it in the comments afterwards, everyone. Just,
Yeah, fuck off.
So let's just go back a bit. So
Christ.
was this someone that you'd been with for a while? Like, was it planned and everything?
No.
Or
No. So, me and Georgia, bless her, I hit her up. I sort of chased her. I had her on Snapchat, I think, and she's a very beautiful girl. And I think I may have said that drunk one night, and we started speaking and sort of went from there. And I think she lived up there. She was a flight attendant for British Airways. She worked cabin crew for British Airways. I'd
nice.
ripped that away from her, getting her pregnant, basically. And so she would travel sort of to and from Heathrow. So she lived up there, and I'd drive up. I was obviously a builder for 5 years since I left school,
Obviously.
sort of thing. Obviously, not a chef. And so I'd drive up there on the weekend, see her, and sort of do that for maybe like 3-4 months, and then made her my girlfriend in February 2020. Of 2023, I think. Yeah,
That's
2023 made her my
That's
girlfriend.
last year.
Fuck. Yeah.
He
Last
ain't
year,
got a
yeah.
clue, has he? He ain't got
No, I
fucking
haven't. I'm
clue.
losing it now.
Can I just say though,
I'm
like, I don't
panicking.
care
I'm
what
panicking because I know she'll watch this.
I don't care what anyone says. Like, again, yet a fucking again with you, right? Travelling backwards and forwards every weekend to Heathrow.
Yeah.
You know, fucking teenagers nowadays, fucking young fathers, fucking pricks, like getting women pregnant. Not this dude.
Well, yeah. Well,
Sorry,
I
go on.
think it's obviously we've had our ups and downs, me and her. You know, things are. We only knew each other really for about fucking 6 months before she got pregnant. So it was
I thought you were going to say 6 minutes then.
It was very well. It felt like that. It felt like 6 years. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like I knew her
for
for
like 6 minutes.
And if you ask her, she'll say half a fucking second, mate. Fucking one pump and gone. But yeah,
Six, you felt pregnant. What did your mum and dad
so
say?
yeah, and then well, it's different for me because I'm the man. You know, it's very much. If it was my little sister having that conversation, it'd be a different scenario, I think. But they were just, my parents are I'm very fortunate. I've never been afraid to tell them anything, and that they've made that very clear in my upbringing that I can be open and honest about absolutely anything. And I think the day I found out, I just walked in and was like, "Mum, I think she's fucking pregnant." And Mum was like, just obviously shocked, but more sort of separates this is why my parents are brilliant, because they'll always separate how they feel, and they'll just act on how I should feel and sort of pamper me. My mum, I'm a mummy's boy, man. I couldn't live without me mum. She knows how to support me in the right ways and sort of say the right things to sort of knock me back into feeling all right and not being too scared. And me and Georgia, we fucking, I was from the minute I started talking to her, I was just head over heels, just like, wow, I want this woman. And that's why I think it was very easy for us. I give her the ultimatum of, if you don't want to have the baby, I'll support you no matter what. And if you do want to have the baby, I'll support you no matter what. Because it was her that was giving up her life. She had just qualified to be a cabin crew flight attendant, young. She's younger than me. She's 21 now. 20. She would have been 20 the time she fell pregnant. So, it's quite young. I can imagine she was more scared to tell her parents than I was to tell mine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's different for the man. I think it's not for me. It's just like
right.
It wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. If my little sister come home and said that at the same age I was, I think she'd get a different reaction. But I think men, I don't know. From the way I was raised, I was raised to sort of, right, stand on your own too. Be your own man, stand on your own feet, fucking deal with life how you deal with life, and that's. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that that's how I was raised, because, it makes me into the man that can sit here now and talk to you guys about, real fucking problems in the world, and, have an opinion on things that maybe, I wouldn't say pampered kids, but kids that are a bit spoon-fed and a bit sort of, their whole life, and it's sort of sheltered from the outside. I was never sheltered from the outside world, and I was never sort of shied away from sort of what the real fucking world is and what real problems are, and fucking, I don't know. I think my mum was just happy for me. If I'm happy, she'll be happy. If I'm sad, she'll be sad. That's why my mum's brilliant. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, I think and it's my parents. I think they do it right. Just it's about what your kid. It's about no matter what. I think there's a lot of stigma of like, oh, you shouldn't do this because I didn't do it when I was young. But times have fucking changed. Even in the last 15 years, times have changed so much in terms of, the amount of people just in Bude alone that are having kids that are fucking younger than me. And I'm just like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? I just think there's not this
COVID
stigma
babies,
anymore. If you've got yeah, mate, there's no stigma of you shouldn't have a baby because you're not married or you're not together. Whereas back 20 years ago, that was very heavy on, you're a bastard, you shouldn't fucking da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, no,
But I just think this day and age, people are just, kids are just fucking, I don't know, fucking.
No,
Do you know
it's
what I
definitely
mean?
it's not as cherished anymore, I don't think, is it?
No.
The art of,
No, it's not. It's not, I don't know. People just fucking, but then again, I just think, just let people do what they want to do. It's nothing to do with anyone. Just nod, smile, say hello, and just keep it moving. That's how I try and live. You know what I mean?
No, I get that.
Yeah.
And so my understanding is now then that obviously you had the baby and Denver, isn't it?
Yes, Denver.
Yeah. And now they live up country, don't they, in the Oxford
They
postcode?
live up there, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but again, blew me away when you told me that basically she comes down every weekend.
Yeah, she probably does more than I go up. At the start, we had a flat, it's backstory here. We had a flat in Bude, we lost the flat. She had to move back up into her parents' house, which is fucking nightmare. Pregnant, obviously. I stayed down here because I was working. And then she got the house up there. And when she got the house, the only reason she comes down here is obviously so Denver can see my family. Because obviously without that, it's a bit awkward. But we split it. I'd say it's sort of, I go up there on my days off or she'll come down here on my days off. Do you know what I mean? But
It's a
she's
long old
fucking
fucking
brilliant.
way, isn't it?
Well, she's fucking, I could never fault her. She's absolutely brilliant in terms of, she's never made it difficult for me. She's never, she could have quite easily turned around and said, "You get your fucking ass up here every week. Like I'm the
Yeah.
one with a baby." Do you know what I mean? So she, and she never makes me feel guilty for it. She never makes me feel bad. She never makes me feel like I'm a twat for it. Like,
How's your
yeah,
head
she's
with
brilliant.
not being with your obviously when you obviously you had the flat and that and then she went up there, like how's your head with not seeing the baby full time?
It was, and dare I say it, it took me back to that fucking place. It took me back to that place fucking hard, man. Like, yeah, you've both got children, and I'm sure you can remember just as vividly as it was what it was like when they were first born and stuff. And to have that, to go from sort of every day and like, that's your little baby, and then to, and it's through no one's fault. There's no one to blame here at all. But you asked the question of how I felt. God, in some moments, I'd have took my fucking life. It was fucking challenging, mate. It was to get up and go to work and to fucking brave it and to speak to him on FaceTime and to go through the battles that, she's obviously going through her problems and I was going through mine. And it was a real fucking test of, right, are you a fucking man? Can you fucking
Yeah.
handle this? You know what I
Christ.
mean?
Test
It
for your
put
relationship. Christ.
massive, mate.
All round.
Massive. We in the short space we've known each other, we've been through more than I'd say a fucking married couple have gone through. It's been hellish. It's been hellish, but we haven't given up. We're finding out who each other are whilst having a baby. Do you know what I mean? It's massive, but all I know is I couldn't give as much as my friends matter and the people that I love matter, no one fucking matters other than her and that boy. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, like the question you asked, how it was, fucking, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to have a baby. And again, no one's at fault here. Then to lose that, I have to live all the time and know I didn't really watch him grow from this little, because you know how much they go from tiny little baby to, all right, you're a bit big now. It just flies by, and to have only saw that sort of, at best once a week. Yeah, challenging. It's something that I think I'll always feel guilty for. I'll always have that. I think I'll always carry a bit of shame in that, because at the end of the day, I could have just upped everything and just fucked off up there, but I didn't. So I
Yeah, I
think
can
I'll always
understand
carry a bit
why
of
you
guilt
might
there.
feel like that, but I think you've got to put that to a bed to a certain degree, because you both made your choice, and you could quite easily have just not been a man and gone, do you know what, if you're having the baby, you're gonna have to fucking do it on your own and chase me for
Yeah,
CSA and all that sort of stuff. But you didn't,
yeah.
and you made it
I
work how you
mean,
should have made it work. So
Shout out to CSA.
how to CSA.
you're taking the fucking piss, Stephen.
Do you know what it is, though? I think to look any man, because I know a few myself, I won't say their names, but I know a few fucking wasters that claim they're a man, that have had girls pregnant and just fucked them off. And, you cannot call yourself a man, mate. If you're going to put your fucking willy there and you're going to do that, and to walk away from it and just to leave, because I've seen firsthand and Georgia, she's been through more than she should have been through having a baby, and how resilient she is and how strong she's been in being a mother. Watching her go through that, I sit here now and it sounds like I'm this fucking, I haven't been great. I haven't been a saint. I haven't done everything I should have done right. I was still learning myself. I'm still young. But there's men out there that do turn around and just go, like you said, fuck off. You want to have this baby, you deal with it. You can't call yourself a man. Because like I look at my little boy and God, I'd cut my leg off with a blunt spoon just to stop him crying. Do you know what I mean? It's like
next week.
Yeah, next week's
Rio's
podcast.
going to cut his leg off with a blunt spoon. Lovely, brilliant.
you got to get him crying first.
That.
Oh, Steve will do that.
No,
It's
sorry,
just,
mate,
I just think, I don't know. I just like you've both, you're both fathers, and I'm a young father with a young baby, and I couldn't, if she moved to America and went, fuck you, I'm going, we're not together, I'd find a way to get to America. I don't know. I guess it baffles me that not every man's like that. That not every man
we
wants
have conversation
to fucking.
like that, don't we, Pricey?
Yeah.
About like all sorts of stuff, why people don't think certain ways, but it's just everyone's so different.
They are actually, and set me up really nicely for my next question, really, Rio. And that is, do you think you are different? Like, if you compare yourself to other other blokes of similar age, like, would you say you are
Age,
different?
yeah. And to take this, I think a lot of people would take this in a bit of a arrogant way, but yeah, I'd say massively. But I think that's only because I hung around with people older than me when I was younger, and I lost a friend at 17, and I had to grow up quick. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you, by the way. Obviously, I mean, it's a loaded question because, again, I said to you right at the outset, like at the beginning when we started recording today, like, I just think you're incredible. Like, I love the way that you talk. I love the depth in which you can hold a conversation. And whether I'm right or wrong, like, I don't know. Oh, let me say this. I don't know anyone else, right, that looks like you in my circle, right? No one.
Yeah.
No one at all. Now, I don't know if that, and I'm not being rude, I'm just trying to be honest so that we get it, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because of my prejudice or I've got my head up my arse or I've got whatever it might be, yeah? And I'm not saying sounds like I'm saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying
Rio's
a bad thing.
nearly half your, well, no, he's half my age.
No,
so you wouldn't specifically hang out with lots of people
but
like...
I would fucking, mate, I'd love to spend fucking months with you. Like, because I reckon you could have... I feel like a bit of a twat, to be fair. Like, and some of the history of what you've been through and what you've had to put up with, and the story you tell is just incredible and it's inspiring. Especially like what you've been doing about school and that. I wonder how many people just give up. I
know loads.
Yeah, of course.
All of my peers. Do you know what I mean? All of my peers that was around me in Budehaven sort of followed suit. Like, it makes me like, there's a couple of people that I got kicked out and went to Delabole, and I know this one kid, he actually asked to go there because I had gone there. They're nowhere now. They're sat in a bedroom smoking a bong. Do you know what I mean? I think it's and that's not because they, it took a fucking lot of resilience, mate, to be honest, to just go. And my mum, when you go to Delabole, that's it. The school, you're out of the school system. You stay there. You live there. You end there. It was my mum that she had to approach all these different schools and, right, can you take him? No. Will you take him? No. Will you take him? No. And then, if it wasn't for my mum, I'd have finished school in Delabole. I'd have got no GCSEs. And granted, I don't think you need them because I've never had to use them. But it's more the mental stigma that it puts on a kid's mind at fucking 16 of, fuck, I'm stupid, I'm thick, and my mate over there, we've been best friends, but he's now got A stars, he wants to go college, we're not friends anymore because I'm too stupid. And I just think it's a fabricated blanket that just doesn't exist. It doesn't hold any fucking substantial sort of power on who you are as a person, I think, I was fortunate that I had a bit of a mind to push through all that shit. But then you could also argue I put myself in that situation by being a shit. I could have just shut up in school. I could have just rolled over and said, yeah.
You could have, should have, would have, could have. At the end of the day, like, you did what you did, right? We've all done fucking things that we regret in life. People make mistakes all the time, but it's what you do with those mistakes. What happens like afterwards. That's what makes a man, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's you can't fail. It's just a lesson. You just learn from it. I'm still fucking learning. I sit here now like I've figured everything out. I ain't got a fucking clue what the next 5 years have in store
Sounds
for me.
like me. Sounds.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
saying that now, dude. I always say people always say you fail. I always say I hate that fucking word.
You hate that
Yeah, I
word.
really do.
Failure.
Really do hate that word. I can.
Is this
don't
not?
even like,
You look at
Even when you get your souffle to rise, I mean, that is a failure.
no
but
one's ever complained about my souffle, big boy.
Yeah, I tell you what, this man makes the best goat's cheese croquettes. I've told you
Does he?
before.
Croquettes.
Yeah, croquettes.
Oh, croquettes. You're changing the name, are you?
croquets.
Croquettes.
No, they're called croquettes, aren't they?
You're pronouncing it how it's spelt, but it's croquets. Is how you pronounce it.
Fucker. How many times have I been in there and said, "Can I have some goat's cheese croquettes?" and you've all gone okay?
It's obviously Spanish. That's the Spanish word, but you're reading it as it's spelt. Do you know what I mean?
That's better.
Right. So when I order,
What are you on there? You on there, little 360 camera or something?
No, that's just
It
the
keeps
iPhone.
moving.
No, but we've got it programmed so then it moves when you move, but sometimes it goes really tight.
I move quite a lot, don't I? And I also take up more of the
You
frame.
take most of the screen up. I got one more thing to say.
I was gonna say.
Then we've got one question to ask.
And then
I just want to say what you were saying about Rio a minute ago, like credit to you, etc., etc. What's genuinely like, and I'll say this off screen, I'll say it to your face when hopefully I don't see you very soon. You know, if I do have the unfortunate...
I'm only round the corner.
You don't know where I live.
Yes, I do. Your
Oh, so
van's
it's
outside.
my van's outside, yeah.
I know where you live.
I can't run away from anyone. It's the way you're, like, I sort of stumble my words sometimes when I'm explaining things, and I'll try to use the right words and blah 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 blah. And we've had people on here which are very eloquent. We've had people on here which you think might be that I think will be very eloquent and sort of bumble their way through, but it's still a really good chat. Everyone we've had on has always had a really good chat. I didn't realise you were going to talk so eloquently, but actually eloquently and properly, like actually come across and put your point across and not stumble your words and not hesitate and not try to be like, oh, I'm going to say these words because I'm supposed to say these words because I want to be the big man. You're saying things because that's how you feel about the way you want to say it. And honestly, mate, I can't express to you how amazing that makes me feel that there's someone of your age that's like is okay with trying to be just, this is how I talk and I want to talk properly. So big love to you, mate. Honestly,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And big respect to your mum and dad for raising you the way they raised you.
I appreciate that a lot.
Did you just say
I appreciate that a lot.
You said braising him.
You can't ever be serious, can you?
Sorry. Go on.
No, I appreciate that a lot. That's to hear that, it's in an arrogant way. I almost think, I kind of know who I am and how I talk, and I think it was
so it's not arrogant. People think, sorry to interrupt. I used to think that people would take that as arrogance. If you've got confidence, as long as you're not an absolute fucking dick, then keep it inside and just use it appropriately, then that's good confidence, I believe. And I think you've got a bit of arrogance about you in a good way.
That's where I was leading with that. I would say I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in the fact that this is me. I've done X, Y, and Z mistakes. I love the saying, raised right, done wrong on my own. That's who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I guess, I don't know, I just, in terms of the articulate sort of things, I loved English at school. Do you know what I mean? So just words don't, I don't know, and again, to come on something like this, and I appreciate the opportunity, and the reason I wanted to was because I fucking love what you guys do, because you are two, normal blokes that have been through different walks of life, I'd say, and you've come together, you know each other very well, and you put out this platform that people can just come and talk. And I think even though we may not be saying necessarily the things of like, we need to talk more, we need to be open more, I think just from seeing us talking confidently,
just chatting, dude. You're in your fucking car in a car park.
Do you know what I mean? But I think just for people, if one person saw that and went, he's 22, fucking hell, I'll stop being so scared to talk. I'll be open about my mistakes. I'll be open with the fact I fucked up and shouldn't have done what I done. And you know what I mean? I think if one person could see that, which is why I wanted to come on and take a little bit of, he's my age, fucking hell, look at him, look. You know what I mean? Then that gives me a bit of peace of mind.
cleared out. You know what? It reminds me like a lot of, I remember I got into trouble like years and years ago. I don't even know fucking how long ago it was, but I ended up having a tag on. And
Back in the olden days, yeah.
well, it wasn't even that long. I say it wasn't even that long ago. It's probably like, well, I don't know, it's probably like 20 years ago, maybe. Yeah, maybe 20 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about 20 years ago.
Say 20 years again.
20 years ago, yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
And
fuck me.
and I obviously I didn't have a job, all this kind of shit. And then one day I wanted to work for this company, and I walked in there, obviously, and they loved me. But I said I got a tag on, and I thought, you know what? Because I could have probably hid it. I probably could have hid it, but I wanted to tell them. And the reason I'm saying this is because
Did they say give us a tune?
the reason I'm saying that is because, do you know what? Some people are frightened to say negative shit. They think the world only wants positive. And that goes for men talking about, whether they're vulnerable, they're weak, or whatever it might be. But actually,
100%.
I find that the people that, are more vulnerable, I have a hell load more respect for, because I trust them. I believe in them. I want to, I want to be part of their lives, But yeah, it's incredible.
I think to know someone's being real and truthful, and they're not like you say about everyone wants positive, so that's all I'm going to tell. You're almost fake. Yeah, you may not be lying because you're saying just the positive, but be a whole book. Let someone judge you as the whole book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think more often than not, people would be surprised how accepting people are when you do just put it down as it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Right, I've got one final question for you, and then we've got to call it a day, because otherwise we'll be like fucking 3 hours long, won't we?
Easy.
So this is a question.
What are we on now?
I don't know, what are we
Hour
on?
and 20?
Hour and 15. Hour and 15. This is a question we ask everyone.
But Rio knows that because he's definitely seen the end of at least one.
Yeah,
Putting me on the spot hard.
So yeah, I want to know, Rio, what is your definition of love?
We spoke about this, didn't we? Ooh,
I can't remember.
My definition of love. I'm going to keep it short and sweet.
Is that the definition?
My definition. Can I say it? Is my personal definition of love? I'd say is to be. Don't know. That's a tough question, man. It's a tough question.
We'll just wait, dude. It's fine.
Go on, give me a sec. I will have to think about this because I want to give you a proper answer.
That's all right.
Definition of love.
Yeah, we'll just sit here in silence and wait while you're thinking. But then we ask people quite often, have some of your water. Got a really dry mouth. You're going to drink some, aren't you? What a prick.
I was going to drink it all.
Fucking hell.
But he's actually turned his head. So you need to turn his head to think.
I love how groomed he is as well.
He is. He's groomed to a...
Thank you. Because I haven't...
That wasn't a compliment.
I haven't watched... I haven't...
Oh, did you see him bite then?
Nearly. Realised I'm on a fucking camera. I definitely... Can I get it out, look? Fuck me.
Yeah, come on.
My definition of love... Man, you have got me stumbling.
Come on, you've got to say something.
We've just had a conversation about how I haven't had to think about what I'm saying, and now I'm thinking. I don't know. My definition of love is to be respected and to be trusted and to be able to be me, like unapologetically me to somebody. If I can be unapologetically who I am to the core, to the tip, and you accept that and don't make me feel judged and love me for that, I think that's my definition of feeling loved, being loved, yeah.
So just a little side question on that then. What's your love language?
My love language?
Bang, bang, bang.
Well, having a kid within a couple of months, you'd think that would... My love language is with me and Georgia sitting in bed watching Friends, because Friends is my comfort show and it's her comfort show too. Me and her sitting in bed watching Friends. That's my love language. That's when I look over and go, yeah. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Simple.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
That really, I'm laughing because that really is. Full, fair, you're a good kid, man.
Don't cry about it, Dave. Fuck me.
No, fucking hell. You got to more than that, dude. But no, fair, like, you're a good kid. No, you're a bloke, but you're my son's age.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah,
please don't. I don't mean that in any sort of condescending way. But Like,
You ain't got to say that to me. I know. I understand it.
full respect for you coming on and just letting it rip. And I got
Well,
a
I'd like to.
shitload of time for you.
I
I think you're
appreciate
a
that.
good,
Well,
really good lad.
I'd like to jump in and say I appreciate from you two the opportunity to come here and sort of, just talk some shit. And, I feel like I've got a lot off my chest here. I feel quite sort of good about this conversation. I didn't know what I expected because I'll be honest, I haven't watched much because that's not what I'm
You
doing
don't
it
need
for.
to,
Like,
mate.
No, you don't need to.
You got me raw,
Yeah,
like most nights,
yeah,
fucking just giving it
yeah,
the...
exactly. And it was
Disgusting.
more. I understand what you're doing, and I understand the sort of relationship that you two have, and I feel blessed to have been given the opportunity, and I want to thank you both because good questions. You very good at making it not feel like an interview, which I think a lot of podcasts seem like. They very interview like of like, so this question, answer this question. You've stayed away from that very much so, which was because that's what I was worried about if it was going to be very question based. Because I said that to you, didn't I, Steve?
People worry
I
that.
really
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want
But
it to
it's
be.
not.
Rio would have been like, no comment.
Who do you work for? But no, I think you're doing a great thing, and keep doing what you're doing. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk to you, lovely fellas.
I
No,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. Like,
Right,
amazing.
dudes, you stay there and we're going to just stop the recording. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Love ya. Bye.